All right, so this is a study guide for this week's test, and then we're gonna be doing some practice together on Delta Math as well. Okay, so let's get started with this. Joe got a magazine subscription at the monthly rate of $10. So that means he's paying $10 a month for this magazine. He paid a one-time membership fee of $20. Okay, so to get this monthly subscription going, he had to pay $20 as a startup, but then each month after that he has to pay $10 for each month that he receives a magazine. It says write an equation that represents this scenario in slope-intercept form. Okay, so what we have to remember is that the slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. Okay, m represents the slope and b represents the y-intercept. When we're talking about real life situations like this one here, the slope is the part that repeats every month or every period of time. Okay, it could be every hour, it could be every second, okay? But it repeats each time. The y-intercept only happens once. Okay, so the y-intercept happens once. So we can clearly see now which one is the slope and which one's the y-intercept. The slope here is the 10. So we're going to go ahead and write y equals 10x and then plus 20. Okay, so notice here how we have the slope is a $10 per month, so that's what the x represents, the months, and then the 20 is a startup fee, okay, or the one-time membership fee that he paid right there. All right, and we can always make a table. Let's just make a quick table here. So this is the month, and this is how much he has paid. Okay, so we'll just put a dollar sign there. So x and y. Okay, so on month 0, we'll call it month 0, he pays $20. Okay, that means this is at the beginning. Okay, but for the first month he has to pay an extra $10, right? So that'll be 30, right? What about month 2? Another $10, that will be 40. So he keeps increasing, right? Now it doesn't mean that he's paying that much each month. He's paying $10 more. So this is accumulating. So it just tells us how much he will have paid by this time. So 50 and so on. 4, right? Another way to do it is to plug in the actual number there. 10 times 4 is 40. 40 plus 20 is 60. All right, next one. Your laptop, your laptop charger is at home and you are at your friend's house working on it. So you forgot your charger, basically. The percentage of charge remaining on your battery is modeled by C equals negative 3t plus 65, where t is the number of hours since you left your house. Okay? In other words, it loses 3% charge every hour you're gone from home, so you have a pretty good battery. Okay? And so this is the amount of battery you have when you leave your house. And then let's say you're at your friend's house an hour, right? And so then that means you lost 3% in that first hour, and then another 3% in the second hour, and so on and so forth. Okay? So what is the slope? Well, the slope here is this amount, the negative 3. What is the y-intercept? Well, the y-intercept is your starting amount, the starting amount of charge or percentage that you had when you left your house. Now the x-intercept, this is interesting here. We have not done x-intercept, right? So listen closely here. The x-intercept will be whenever your battery loses charge. Okay? In other words, in how many hours will your battery be basically down to 0? Okay? And so that's basically what it's asking. And so to do this, we basically set the charge to 0. So let's do that. We have C equals negative 3, and then that's a t, so this should be, the x-intercept is still the same thing as the t-intercept in this example. But we're going to go ahead and set the c equal to 0. Okay, so 0 equals negative 3t plus 65. Okay, so in other words, we want to know how many hours it will be before the charge gets to 0%. In other words, completely dead. So let's subtract 65 on both sides. And so that's going to leave us with negative 65 equals negative 3t. Okay? And then you know what to do. We divide by negative 3 on both sides. And so t equals, and then whatever negative 65 divided by negative 3 is. Now we know it's going to be a positive, so I'll just do 65 divided by 3. That's 21.66. I'll just say it like that. 21.6, and then put a bar underneath there. I'm sorry, over. Now, of course, this is not a real situation. Usually our battery will die much faster than this, right? But based on this equation here, and it only losing 3% each hour, then it would take 21.6 hours for it to completely die. Okay? So we could just round up to 21 hours or 22 hours. It'll be dead. Okay? All right. Next one. Okay. Now, from the test, I would say that the questions like these are going to be the majority of the problems you will see. Okay, so this is very important. Now, to find the slope or to calculate the slope, we have a slope formula. It goes like this. M equals, and then we go ahead and subtract the y's in the numerator, and then subtract the x's in the denominator. Now, those little numbers that I put there, they're called subscripts, and that just refers to the different y values that we have. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is take a look here. I have an x and a y, and I have an x and a y. So I have two sets of coordinates, right? So 5, 6, and negative 2, 7. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go ahead and start with this one here. The 5, right, is the x, and the 6. So on top, I'm going to subtract the y. So here's the y, and there's the other y. So I'm going to do 6 minus 7. So I have to subtract, see that? And then on the bottom, I'm going to do the x's. 5 minus negative 2. So 5 minus negative 2. Okay? Again, I just started with the first one here, the first group, and this is the second group. Okay? So the y's for 6 minus 7 over 5 minus negative 2. Now, you know you did this right if these line up. Notice 5, 6 lines up right there. And then 7 and negative 2 line up right there on the right. Okay? So 6 minus 7 is negative 1. And then 5 minus negative 2, that's going to become the same as 5 plus 2, which is 7. So that's my slope. Down 1 over 7. That's what the slope means. It means I go down 1 and then over 7. Okay? Excuse me. Okay, let's do the same thing over here. M equals... And so we're going to do the x and the y right here. And so let's do it like this. 1 minus negative 4. So the y's. 1 minus negative 4. And then 0 minus 10. 0 minus 10. Notice how the 1 and the 0 line up. And then the 10 and negative 4 line up. Okay? So 1 minus negative 4, that's the same as adding there. So 1 plus 4 is 5. Okay? And then 0 minus 10 is... negative 10. Notice the negative is down here this time. But when we simplify this, really the whole thing is negative. Okay, so it's a negative 5 over 10. But then you reduce this fraction, so that'll be really negative 1/2. Okay, now whenever the slope is negative, that means you drop, you go down. So we're going to go down 1 and to the right 2. Okay, because the slope is negative. Over here, the negative was on top, but it could the same be written this way. Okay, negative 1/7, and it'll mean the same thing. All right, let's keep going. Graph. So we need a graph. Notice here, this is my y-intercept. Remember the steps for graphing are plot the y-intercept. Number 2, use slope to plot other point. And then 3, draw a line between both points. Or I should say connecting both points, okay? So we'll just leave it like that. So we're going to start with the y-intercept. Remember, y equals mx plus b. The b, which would be the 3 here, is the y-intercept. We're going to go up 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's my y-intercept. Now notice my slope here. There's no number there, but I'm going to go ahead and write in a 1. So it's a negative 1, and I'm going to make it into a fraction. So I can do rise over run. So this is negative 1 over 1. So what does it mean? It means you go down 1 and then over 1. Okay? Down 1 over 1. And you can keep going down 1 over 1. Down 1 over 1. And then basically it's just going to line up. So then you just draw a line. And since I'm doing this by hand, I missed that point right there. Okay? But that's the way it looks. Notice how the slope is negative and it starts at 3. So from 3 it goes down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. Or you could think of it goes up 1, left 1, up 1, left 1. So it could go backwards also. Okay? Almost done here. Got 2 more graphing problems. So notice here we have y equals x minus 6. So let's graph this. So my first point is the negative 6. So I'm going to go down 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There it is. I'm way underneath the x-axis. And then my slope, again, I'm going to put a number there. Positive 1 and then over 1. Okay? Since there was no negative, it's positive. So then this means we go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. So it's like a staircase, up 1 over 1. Okay, and then you begin to see a straight line of dots forming. Okay, so you just go ahead and connect the dots, make a nice line. Okay, next one. Notice, by the way, this one's a positive slope. It's going upwards. Okay, next. Notice, take a look at the slope. It's negative. That means this line's going to go down, okay? And it's going to go through negative 2. So let's go down to 2. 1, 2. That's negative 2 right there. And then our slope is negative 2 over 3. That means I'm going to drop 2 or go down 2 and then over 3. So I'm going to go 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3. That's my next point there. And I could connect these two like this. Okay. That's it.